I wanted to talk to y'all a little bit. I just wanted to drop some encouragement for those who are in a place where they're discouraged. I remember when I was in barber school, and mind you, I didn't even know I was going to be a barber when I actually enrolled in the barber school. I just enrolled to have something to do because I had moved to Illinois. I got into barber school, and there were people telling me, because I grew up around barbers, some of the techniques and stuff like that, they didn't have to teach me. It was kind of like natural because of what I was seeing when I was a kid or whatever. Because my mom used to drop me off at the barber shop every Saturday or every Friday or Saturday or whatever and go run errands. And I pretty much was like at the shop for a couple hours at a time, watching, at the time, an older barber and a younger barber. So a lot of the things that I've seen through them, they kind of just stuck with me. So when I was in school, I had no idea what I was doing. I didn't know any of the concepts. I didn't even, I didn't even know how to place the clippers right, but I knew how to hold them. But all it took was somebody to tell me one time how to do something, and I pretty much had it. So I learned barbering pretty quick while I was in school. Then there was a time where I got sick. I found out that I had gastritis or gastric ulcers or whatever. I had lost a lot of weight. I was weak, nauseated all the time, nauseous rather. And at certain points, like I wasn't even strong enough to go to school or whatever. So most of the time when I was feeling sick, I stayed home and I had to miss out on school. And then the other factor of that, at that time, I ended up becoming homeless. And with all that stress going on, it was a whole lot, that I was going through. Then when I was able to go to school, I started going back to school, but I thought that I wasn't going to be able to finish because I had got sick or whatever. But the owner of the school looked out for me. I was supposed to get kicked out of school because of all the absences that I had. But somehow he looked out for me. God made a way, and I was able to stay in school and finish. Then when I finished school, I moved back to my hometown in Albany, Georgia, and I started cutting on the base. And when I started cutting on the base, that was the point where I actually had to learn at an advanced pace very quickly. So, and at this particular time, I was working on the base as a commission barber, making about $12.50 an hour plus commission. Some people had quit, and I ended up being the only barber at the shop. So at that time, I was cutting like maybe 30 heads a day by myself. From the time the shop opened, sometimes I didn't even get a lunch, and I would work through until like 5 or 6 p.m. Then after that particular situation, I decided to I decided to work for myself and just work in the shop. So when I got in the shop, I started out with 0 clients. And I was kind of discouraged because when I was on base, I was the man. I was the man to see. But then when I wasn't working on base anymore, I actually had to build a clientele from scratch again. I started out with 0 clients leaving the base. And it was really hard because of what I was used to being on the base. Then over time, with me being consistent and bettering myself, gaining wisdom and knowledge, listening to other barbers, watching a bunch of YouTube videos, learning different strategies and techniques, learning how to actually run a business. Those things actually help me to be a better barber. Now, I know a lot of barbers are under this impression that you can come out of school charging $100 a haircut. When I came out of barber school and I started working on the base, the haircuts at the time were like $10.50. And I was only making 70% of that $10.50. No matter what the haircut was, I made 70% of that haircut. So with the commission, I had to cut more heads to beat the commission. But even when I beat the commission, on my slower days, the slower days was eating into my commission. So even though it was competitive, it was kind of challenging, you know what I'm saying, to make a lot of money. But I recommend that any barber coming out of school, first starting out, instead of, if you can get into a commission shop, get into the commission shop, learn as much as you can before you actually go out into the barber world and think that you can do it yourself or whatever and do the booth rent thing. Going commission actually helped me to get better as a barber because I was able to make those mistakes and still get paid. Because working in a regular shop, if you make a mistake 9 times out of 10, them people gonna want a free haircut, and they're not gonna let certain things slide when it comes to getting a haircut. So that's one of the things that I would encourage you to do. Another thing that I would encourage you to do is to continuously learn. When I first started, I thought that I knew everything coming out of barber school. But when I got on base, I started to see that I ain't have it. I ain't have it like I thought I did. So even when I was on the base, I still had to study. I had to learn how to use the shears. I had to learn how to manipulate the clipper system and guard system so that I can get through haircuts faster, which in turn will help me to make more money because I was on commission. I started out with zero. Now I'm to the point where I'm working on trying to open my own shop and start a school in the future. And I started from zero. As of today, I am 100% an entrepreneur. I only make income as a barber. And that is a blessing. I have a wife and kids. I have my own family. My family is provided for. And now I'm trying to get to the point where my wife doesn't even have to work if she doesn't want to. But I said all that to say, even though you starting out at zero, at no clientele, if you stick to it, if you gain wisdom and knowledge, if you grind, if you show up at the shop, if you're consistent, you get better and better over time, you will succeed. Because if you quit, you're not going to win. If you give up, when you give up, you're just going to be wasting time. A lot of people think that barbering is a waste of time. But in the type of society that we're in, haircuts are a necessity. Hairstyles are a necessity. So at the end of the day, like, It doesn't matter where you are, if you're in a small city, a big city, or whatever. You can make a lot of money cutting hair, but you have to be smart with your money and your finances and stuff like that, and to get into other avenues. But the important thing is, for what I'm trying to tell y'all in this particular video, is just stick with it. Keep moving forward. Don't worry about what people have to say. Tune all that out, because at the end of the day, whenever you get to a place where you're actually able to create your own income, and those people that are telling you you're crazy are still clocking in at a job, and they are showing up to these jobs just so that they don't get fired, it says a whole lot. They don't have freedom like you do. And what I mean by freedom is freedom of making as much money as you can. If you're working a 9 to 5, you're only getting paid what they're willing to pay you for those amount of hours that you're working. But when you become an entrepreneur, especially as a barber, it depends on your work ethic how much you get paid. And that's a beautiful thing. For some people, that's a scary thing. But for me, the type of person that I am, I always knew I was going to be a business owner. I just didn't know what business I was going to get into. But when I found barbering and I saw how easy it is to make $100 in an hour, I was hooked. And ever since then, I've been trying to figure out ways to be better as a barber so that I can add more value to the clients that I have or that want to come to me. But all that to say, don't give up, keep growing, focus on your craft, focus on growing your business, and keep learning. Don't stop learning. Because the moment you stop learning, that'll be when you stop making money. Or you'll put a cap on the money that you're able to make. I appreciate y'all for y'all time. I hope that this was some good information for y'all. Y'all take it easy.